Are there simply too many people coming into Britain?
I think there's a huge disjuncture between perception and reality. The perception is of a system in chaos, that somehow we're being swamped by unwanted excess numbers of people. The reality is, even after all of this net immigration, we have something like 5% of the total workforce who are made up of foreign nationals.
People are really rather afraid that this country might be rather swamped by people with a different culture.
The black man will have the whip hand over the white man.
Quite a number of them turn out to be rogues and cheats and liars. Send them back to the countries they came from.
Our country is being stolen from us.
We have a system of immigration at present which is out of control. I think it has to be brought under control.
When you use words like that in that way, they are emotive and they are pandering to the baser skills of human nature.
Politicians talking about immigration. There must be an election coming up.
Excuse me, first of all, we closed down the Sangat, which people will remember. We stopped people coming across the Channel Tunnel, which people will remember.
There is now a bidding war taking place on immigration and asylum between the government and the official opposition. And isn't it important to speak up for the positive role that migrants play, and also to defend at all cost the principle that in this country we welcome refugees?
I asked people how many asylum seekers they thought were given permission to stay in 2003.
My guess will probably be close to 100,000.
Hundreds of thousands, I should say.
Yes. It's actually 12,000, just over 12,000 asylum seekers.
Oh, not as many as I thought.
Hello, my name is Samuel Makoko. I want to tell you my story, why I came to Britain in 1990 as a product of one of those ripples of British neo-colonial interventions in Africa. I had fled Uganda after being arrested and expelled in prison just because I refused to work with the government that was in power.
The landlocked African country of Uganda became part of the British Empire at the turn of the 20th century. It was a country rich in mineral deposits and natural produce.
Idi Amin Dada.
Britain's intervention introduced in Uganda's political development the option of a military takeover as one result in an event of an internal dissatisfaction with the elected government.
Amin was an uneducated illiterate and had no experience of command. In 1966, he was investigated for corruption, and in 1970 he was implicated in the brutal murder of his arch-rival Brigadier Okoye and Okoye's wife. Amin would face prison or worse unless he took action.
I remember a message was sent to me, would I meet him on the 11th tee at Kampala golf course. Anyway, I duly turned up and we had a long chat, and he was telling me then that he had plans to remove Obote. We discussed it at length.
Amin made his bid for power in 1971, deposing Obote while he attended a Commonwealth conference in Singapore. Henchmen had already embarked on a campaign of genocide against the tribes who had supported the previous government. Amin's genocidal campaign would be felt on every level of society.
It looks to me that the British wanted people like Idi Amin, you know, people who were vicious, who would be ruthless, and people were put on firing squad in every town of Uganda. And this was televised, you know, for people to see.
Despite being responsible for the deaths of over 250,000 people, no attempt has been made to extradite Idi Amin or make him pay for his crimes in a court of law.
When I arrived in Britain, the reception I got at Heathrow was a week in detention. I felt as if I had just fled one system of prejudice into another.
But it's like that.
I spent 7 years in limbo. I wasn't allowed to work or study. Those years gave me time for self-reflection and again focus on my priorities.
Where the college is, it's opposite the college. And they do weight watchers on Tuesday all day. To be honest, the best thing is...
Luckily, I'm a product of Afrocentric Buccaneers whose wisdom has been gained during long discussions with fellow Africans about our cultural, social, economic, and political heritage. This kept me intellectually stimulated and alive. In 1997, I was granted full political asylum after a court appeal where I challenged the Home Office's decision of denial. The same year, I enrolled on a university degree in communications and audiovisual production and successfully graduated in 2001 with a BA honors.
This is a very important time in your life, and it is important to remember that it is only you who can ascend that ladder. Success is almost entirely dependent on your own drive and ability. And for those of you who come from overseas, I hope that the friends and contacts that you have made here in the city and in London generally will form a network for you. You will find that there are serious decisions to be made. And with that in mind, I wish you all every success now and in the future.
Samuel Makuko.
How can we, as part of the African community, take the opportunity to open up networks that create a platform for discourse about the challenges that face Africa? What can be done to support the immigrant community to effectively contribute both to the host country and to Africa?
The two external goals are about how we basically shift the balance of power to Africa. So we work with a broad range of people who see themselves as wanting to improve things in Africa. And we have partnerships with other non-Africans who share the same objectives that we have. It's for Africans now to push forward and try and get control over their lives again and their economies and their societies.
We need a charitable wing so that we, the directors who are running Top Tech, don't have the conflict of interest.
I mean, who cares?
Who cares?
I mean, that's what you've got to ask yourself. Who cares? Who cares about what you're doing?
Having this fundraiser makes me feel comfortable that we can go to them and say, we did this, the local paper came along, we raised a bit of money. With that bit of money, we've been able to training 2 teachers who run the office in Uganda.
We can set up a small program which will involve creating awareness, doing lobbying in government, bring together the teachers,
yes,
the politicians,
yeah,
and local chiefs.
We're also talking about civil society, aren't we? We're talking about people being able to participate in civil life and to assume a role in society. But there's a larger issue too. I mean, there's this thing about the economy of Uganda would be improved if it could find a way of utilising the skills of people. It's fine. You just set up a charity. I think.
It's quite difficult.
And that's a wrong.
We never can shake it.
Now, tell me about what you offer and the cost of your what you'd offer if I'd given you time.
I would offer you matoke, which is not here. We do chapati, we do rice, flour and plain rice. We do cassava, we do sweet potatoes, we do maize meal, ugali, normally call it ugali back home. You know that one? Yeah. We do a lot of stuff really.
What would be the cost of that?
£10.
To be £10.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. My part is starting at 7.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Nice doing business with you.
All right. I think I'm looking forward
to attending my party.
It's gonna be a party tonight. This is something I just want to get tonight, yo. Always let that go. Nobody knows. When God is on my side, who can be against me?
After 15 years in the UK, I'm still surprised at the lack of responsibility that the West takes at its part in Africa's political turmoil. The people in the West should give credit where credit is due. Instead of us sitting on our backs and waiting for the West to solve our problems, we are getting out there to do our bit. Instead of recycling ourselves in a vicious circle of violence, we are getting new skills to add on to the much-needed intellectual pool for Africa.